to Backyard Blindfolds 2 with me, Rebecca Potter, and
Kelly Ward.
all right, so we're jumping along on our Running with a Dream here. And Kelly, you mentioned an acronym last time, wasn't it?
Yes,
And what was it and what does it mean?
ants.
Ants. I got ants in
The
my
little ants in your
pants.
pants.
Yeah, what are they?
Automatic negative thoughts.
Okay, so in relation to being a creative couple, running our dreams down is in pursuing our dreams, especially at this point in life,
Mhm.
but at any point in life. Automatic negative thinking. So you don't even have to be pursuing a dream to have these. Lucky everyone.
The way our brains work.
Yeah, so tell us why you kind of thought to bring that into the conversation, and when did you become aware of what those were and the whole yeah, what they are.
So I think that one of the hardest parts of this life right now, which is really sinking in and pursuing the dream, is uh, the negativity that can come from it because you don't really have a whole bunch of people are saying you're doing. Oh, that's great. Keep going. You're doing great, right?
No? I mean, we
No,
do it to each other, for
right,
each other.
right.
But
And
yeah, like if you don't have a very strong like network of, say, a family that believes in, say, art, or your friends think you're crazy because you should be worried about health insurance and retirement, and you're like off spending all those
yeah.
things on pursuing a dream, for example.
Well, right. The whole world, at least in the West, is not designed to reward these kind of decisions.
Adventure, right?
Not having a career or leaving a career,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and all that comes with that. And we're taking a huge risk. I mean, there are very few people who make it in any of these creative professions, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, especially in America. I was just telling Kelly there was an article my mother sent me about how it's even harder for artists to make a living than ever in America, which is ironic, being we are supposedly the freest nation, maybe not so much, and we don't appreciate culture enough in America, in my opinion. So our artists are always having to work full-time jobs and not. So this is a huge risk, and I was going to ask you, I mean, what do you say? Because I've heard a lot of people come at me and tell me I'm being irresponsible for pursuing my dream. Have you heard
well,
that?
you are. I mean,
So
in
it's an
it,
interesting conundrum.
but are you really? Okay,
Responsibility,
so
but are you
yeah,
really?
but
That's
are you
that's
really?
where I
So
wanted you to fill in some gas.
yeah, I think that the uh, the what I want to say, the individual fulfillment
Hmm.
of that thing that's inside of you that's gnawing, that's burning to get out, it has that release and that outlet.
Yes,
That is the best thing that any of us could do for the world around us.
is
And so
to what? So break that down a little bit more. So it's to
write
pursue.
that book,
Okay.
paint that painting,
Hmm.
build that furniture, whatever it is that
Like
is
being your
there.
authentic self,
Be
right?
be the creation that is inside of you. Like
Question: did you feel when you were young? I was born to write. I was born to be an actor. I was born. Did you have this like when you start writing? Do
mm,
you feel like it's intrinsic, like it's an addiction you must overcome, or I mean, what's how would you describe it?
so I think at a young age it was about retelling stories. So
Okay,
it was me mimicking characters,
okay,
and so I spent a year. This is terrible as a Chinese houseboy,
uh,
um, and then another as Elvis,
okay.
and so
When you were a kid,
when I was a kid, yeah.
okay,
So
pretending basically.
pretending, and
Okay, that's
yeah,
hilarious.
that storytelling through characters
Uh huh.
was really important to me.
And that's very innate. It sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So now storytelling through writing, particularly this little angle that I'm on, yeah, it feels like it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So I think that's like an important thing for much of the public to understand is it's not necessarily an irresponsibility because you're being responsible to yourself. And so I think it's a huge risk. I think there's a lot of ridicule around it. So I just really want to support other creatives out there and say that it's completely valid, in my opinion, not that I'm anybody, but to want to pursue your creative endeavors.
And I think all we have to ask ourselves is, what's our favorite book?
Yeah.
What's our favorite movie? Have we ever been to a museum? Did we have an appreciation for any of that? And then thank all those people for the irresponsible life that they lived.
Like
So
Van
that,
Gogh,
yeah,
like what
so
an
that,
irresponsible dude, didn't pay any rent, like his brother's trying to support him. I mean, it's like, and then look at the paintings he made. You know what I mean?
right,
Like
right,
I
yeah,
find all that very interesting. And why do we not pay artists? And we'll get into this another episode. But like, I see just people make money on dead artists all day long, but you don't see artists getting shown or paid to live and create their works. I mean, very often there's great sacrifice involved for people to make work.
yeah.
Speaking of that, since that's kind of a negative tip, but a true one, where do you want to take this ants things from here?
So what I noticed between the two of us
Okay.
is that when they come up, they show themselves in the language we use to describe our day
So I'm cussing a lot, I bet.
individually. So individually, I might come around and say, oh, I don't know about this. Uh,
Plot or
yeah, like the most recent. I don't know if Dirk's ready to release. It may not be that good, or it's too short, or so and so gave me this feedback, or whatever. And you'll pull me up short, and you'll say, no, that's not the way you think, or or even the loose language that we use of if 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 it sells, right?
right, the if, right, not
You
when.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you'll say, "No, no, no, it's when it does," right?
Yes.
So, little things like that,
Okay.
and it reminded me of, quite a number of years ago, I was working on another project, and that's where this ants came up.
Okay. So this is back to the ants.
Back to the ants. So, just think about any meeting you've been in, any situation in which, you've had to bring together a group of people and attempt to collaborate
Oof.
or to
Oof.
discuss something, and the first thing out of
Anyone's mouth.
inevitably somebody's mouth is something negative,
Yes.
and it's these automatic. So we need to improve something. Oh, we can't do that because da da da.
Right.
It's automatic. People automatically think negative things, right?
Why do you think people frame toward the negative so that they don't look like they're responsible
Because
for the
I
outcome
I think
or
I think it's a couple things. One, it's we haven't trained for the positive.
yeah, no, I agree. And then we're wired to remember negative, not positive.
Yep,
Yeah.
I think that's 100%. We don't want to accept responsibility, and so if you agree with the negative statement, we need to improve sales, and you
Oh
go,
yeah,
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 you're
yeah,
right,
yeah.
we sure do, and you're like, then suddenly you own you own the responsibility for the fact that sales aren't up.
Right. So why would we say that doesn't work? And why are we attacking ants? Because I mean it's counterproductive, I think.
Wait,
Like
to attack the ants, it's kind
no,
of
no, for there to be ants. Like automatic negative
100%.
thoughts, I mean anything automated in your subconscious, which
Hmm.
we'll get into Bruce Lipton a little bit here. Uh I mean, you have to do something to rewire that. You have to. We'll go into a couple ideas we had, or that we heard
Hmm.
from him actually. Um, yeah, you can't allow those to hijack you because they have great implications. So, what are the reasons you don't want to have ants?
Or you're touching on some. One is you can talk yourself out of anything.
Yes.
So
So,
there's a lot of good reasons to not do anything, right?
yeah,
Like just think
no,
about
I
getting out of
mean,
bed. Getting out of
anything
bed,
pleasurable, it's like you're not supposed to do it. Yeah,
it, uh, pleasurable. Uh, um,
means something
the
to you. It has meaning
Yep,
for
yep.
you.
So if you're doing anything other than the prescribed, and even the prescribed, I think sometimes gets difficult to do. But just imagine yourself. The alarm goes off, and it's 6:30 in the morning. You're every I think everybody's uh, just about everybody is going to hit the snooze button. Oh, just 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? You're now you're just putting negative. I don't want to face my day, right?
Hmm.
Or I didn't get enough sleep, or this or that, and wham wham wham.
Right, whereas, like, I feel like when I there's a such a stark difference when I know I'm gonna get up and I just need to make artwork.
Well, you would have woken up at midnight and started planning
Right,
for
right.
getting up at 6 to go work on your stuff.
That's right.
That's
Because
and
it
I
should say something to us
yes,
all,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the techniques that we have to employ to get through most of our days is combat the ants,
Yes.
right?
So one that we talked about, well, I think we should launch in first. So our solution mutually that we have found ourselves, and we didn't even try, but we found ourselves on walks,
Yeah.
which Kelly named the
Walk of doubt.
walk of doubt.
So we go on our walk of doubt every day. Well, it used to be in the morning. We would wake up in the morning. So it actually starts overnight because the subconscious tries to play a game, and it feeds some negative things. So every
Yeah,
once in a while,
one
more
of
than
us.
more than more than every once in a while, you or I
Hmm.
would have a night in which those ants would get in the head and you're dreaming something horrible.
Right.
You wake up and you're thinking about it, and it's all thoughts in the negative. And so you kind of wake up in this mood, right? We go for a walk and we start talking about these things.
Uh huh.
This is what I thought about overnight, and this and that, and wah, 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 wah. And we get it all out over 2 hours, over 6 miles. And when we get back, we're ready to go.
Right. So what happens is it's usually one of us. So like, thank God. Like in general, we don't tend to have two of us who are in a
Yeah.
negative space, and then the other person inevitably will give like a pep talk
Mhm.
basically to the other one, which then starts them both gearing up. I tend to get kind of pissed off about ants because I think Kelly deserves the world, so I don't want him to feel that way. So I get kind of mad about them and try to counter them in any way I know to counter them from my own experience
Mhm.
or whatever. You do the same thing
Right.
for me.
Right.
So that as a practice, especially if you're a creative couple, is an idea. Walking, you can look up the science about walking and EMDR therapy and what walking does for humans. We should all be walking a lot. Like I wish I walked twice as much as I do at least. Um,
Mhm.
but it's a very good way to let the mind quit looping on these
Mhm.
negative thoughts and allow it to play out some because you're in motion, and then you've got reiteration of positive thoughts, which is another thing that we talked about was affirmations.
Yes. So speaking to the positive and to your expectant outcome that's positive
Hmm.
right before that subconscious comes around. So right before you go to bed,
Yes.
put the good stuff in.
Yep.
So you and I don't watch TV, so we
Right.
we we don't have that to combat.
We don't look
We
at our phones before bed either.
right. So we try to get ourselves in bed mode, um,
Yeah. Chill
sleep
out.
mode,
Yeah.
and this is a new thing that we've added is this positive affirmation before we go to bed. We're not saying them out loud. We're saying them to ourselves, our own personal
Mhm.
desires for positivity or positive outcome in the work that we're doing,
Yeah.
and it tends to help.
It does tend to help. So we were saying when we do that, we tend to have good dreams uh, and dream. Whereas when we don't, we won't dream, or it's negative dream, or you wake up with a negative thought loop. And I noticed, like at night, and this is the beauty of the moon, I think, and night is it's our shadow sides, and it's the catastrophizing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can send a ship
We,
to the
we
bottom of the
yeah,
sea
yeah.
over an evening.
We have both, I think, capsized our ship 100 times
Hmm.
just through those thoughts.
Yeah, and then
We
you
have
wake up
lived
and
through
it's not
that,
even real.
right?
And it's like not even close. So we started kind of asking ourselves questions like, why are we doing this? Because
Hmm.
it's not getting you where you want to go. I started trying to, a lot of time, Kelly, he will wake up earlier than I. So when he's gone and I wake up, I try to think three positive thoughts for myself, about my work, and about the world. And then I get up. And it makes a huge difference, I think, for
And
how we feel.
and both you and I, through all of this, have been bolstering each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because making these changes is huge risk.
Yeah, and I think we naturally fall into that, and then when we start talking about this aspect of life and pursuing the dream, we get more focused on that as a specific activity of bolstering each other. Like it's a very conscious
Yes, because there's
part of our life.
specific goals. There's specific goals to be reached, which is another great practice. Is like, what does Kelly want to happen with his work? What does Rebecca want with her work? And then we're kind of egging each other on, like, okay, well, how many books do you need to sell this month? And how many, pieces of art are you going to try to get completed for that competition by when?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. If I've mentioned something that I want to do or will do, inevitably a few days later you'll say, have you done anything on that?
Right. Did you make any actions, which is a huge point of this whole ants conversation, and having a creative life that's going to work is, and we see this with everyone who has a problem, which is all of you. Everybody has a problem. What fixes a problem? Action. Like, not talking about it, make a small step and do something. So I always say the Pinterest board is like my friend. I can, immediately pin something. I can go read something. I can go draw something. If I doodle the sketch out, I'm there.
Mm.
It's starting to happen. Make that one phone call to that one store, to that one gallery, to the whatever. Those action steps are the key. So it's big to know that with ants, so negative loop and brain, you have to break up
You have
the
to break
loop.
it. Yep.
It's like a dog who's in the red zone
Yeah.
and is staring at attacking someone. You have to kind of kick him out of his mindset.
Yeah. And we live in a quite a wonderful place where we can step out and automatically get out of the loop.
Yeah.
So we can come out to where we are right now. There's a couple of ducks in the water.
Yeah.
We can talk to the ducks and they'll talk back to you.
Right.
And
And you're like, why am I being a freak about this?
exactly, why am I so worked up? There's fresh air. It's
Quiet.
quiet. It's beautiful scenery, and
That's a luxury.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a luxury for us.
Because like being in New York City, it was much harder. It's like you're constantly stimulation, hurrying, competition, whatever, like deadlines, harder to do everything. Logistics are harder.
But there are things there, like you might be able to pop into a bodega
Hmm.
or a coffee shop or something and have a moment of interaction that will
Put you in a good mood.
put you in a good mood. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So there's always ways, but I think incidental ones are nice. But the bigger thing to me is the mental
practice.
steps you take for yourself.
Yeah,
Do you just come out and do some squats? Do you immediately make the phone call, write the person? Like, to me, there's an immediate that is going to feel like you're jumping way too far ahead on something. I say do that. I think this whole like step by step by step. I'm like, why don't you just leap to the last thing sometimes? Sometimes
yeah.
it behooves us.
No, it's good. And then the other things you're talking about, knowing that about yourself. So if you step away from a negative moment that you're having, this negative self-talk, and go for the walk or swing the kettlebells or do 10 push-ups, and suddenly you're in your body in a certain kind of way
Yeah, you're not in your
that
mind so
yep
heavy, right?
that knocks the all you need to do is shake loose the repetitive
The loop,
pattern.
the loop. Which, as Bruce Lipton would say, and I highly recommend, what is it, The Biology of Belief?
Yep.
Excellent book. But he talks about how that becomes a belief system. So that's mainly what Kelly and I feel like are rewiring is our belief system. So you can examine your childhood till you're dead. You can blame your parents for a bunch of stuff, society, the country you live in, the color of your skin, whatever you want it to be. But eventually you have to what would you say, break out of that. Like you're gonna have to
Yep.
overcome it, and you have to decide that you can by your own belief system. So we aren't allowing ourselves to have any excuses. I've never liked excuses. We all have them that we rely on and that we fall back to. Well, those point to your beliefs. So do all artists have to starve? No. It's like I however start thinking, well, do I really believe that they don't? Because yeah, X, Y, and Z in my
Yeah.
life,
Yeah, it forces you to confront
bias and
all that stuff. What do you really believe? And if that belief is limiting your ability to get to your goal, you have to change the belief.
you have to change the belief. So that brings us to the idea of a saboteur. So we were trying to think of direct examples, and I would say your beliefs are one of them. Or every time you're going to, like I was telling Kelly, there's this big competition I wanted to enter. Kind of didn't know when the deadline was. I looked, and then literally the next day it had been extended. And so I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to enter. And there was this scramble. And then I started doubting my work. And then I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready, and I'm rushing. So I'm thinking, like, oh, rushing is a bad idea. But I went for it. And then sure enough, now every time I walk by that work, I think, It's actually really good, and I love it. And so then I didn't saboteur the entering of the competition. The outcome of the competition hopefully will be great. However, I think it's important that you don't cut yourself down right before the success. And a lot of people have been through trauma. We get to 90%, you will
Yeah.
do all the hardest work and you just won't put the icing on the damn cake.
Right.
And so, how in your life can you put your icing on the cake every day? And that's what I kind of see the affirmations as. It's like, I am a good person. I love my work.
Mhm.
Kelly's gonna publish 16 books in the next 10 years, whatever it is.
Right.
And that gets me just buoyant.
Right.
So the saboteur though is sneaky, and I was trying to think of the ways it sneaks in.
Oh, it's procrastination.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's yeah. So
It's not my thing,
I've
but
got something to put in 6,000 words on a new piece that I'm working for a competition by Sunday. So my
right.
goal was by today. Not quite there yet. Um, but when I thought this morning about, oh, you know what, I should make a chicken first.
Oh yeah, and
I
like yeah,
Yeah, right.
clean the toilet bowl.
Might as well. It's dirty.
Today it
Let's
needs
do
to
it.
happen like right
Yeah.
now, like not
So
after, but
yeah,
before.
and learning to put yourself and your work first
Mhm.
before all those things. That's just a saboteur. That's just somebody who wants to make it really difficult, and it's yourself make it really difficult for you to make those goals, to
That's
reach those goals.
That's right. So I think that was a big thing. I was going to check our notes because you're wanting to rewire
Yeah.
yourself, and then oh yeah. So this was well, we can segue into what we're going to do in the upcoming
Yeah.
episodes. How would we like to wrap up ants before we do that?
Uh,
Because I don't know if we laid out a really great idea of practices or any resources or podcasts, maybe.
I don't know exactly specifically podcasts and whatnot, but what I was
Okay.
going to say is that if you had one other person who you could have an agreement with
Hmm.
that would
Good idea.
be your partner, your bolstered partner, and you do the same for them.
So it's like an accountability partner.
Yeah, so I
Yep.
feel like
We are that way.
that's
Yeah.
you and I. We're
Right.
our
You didn't
accountability.
enter?
Yeah.
Kill you. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
not that, but then also, who's going to send you the Instagram quotes that are the uplifting quotes? Who's
Yes.
going to send you the podcast
Podcasts.
of Bruce Lipton? Who's going to say, I've read this book, da da da? Who's going to tell you to read the War of Art,
Right.
right?
Right. You have to
Though
keep each other on
you got,
points.
and you got to keep each other bolstered. So it's almost like, we're fortunate because we wake up in the same house every morning,
Yeah.
so we can say to each other, and you can read me and I can read you, and it's been a bad night, or and so you got to put on the good stuff. Like we got to feed, you got to beat back the demon,
Right.
and you got to feed the positive.
Right.
And so who's that in your life? Or
Right. Is it your mom? Is it your best friend? It's like, is it someone you can meet at a therapy group? Is it your therapist? Like
yeah,
who is your cheerleader,
and
so to
it
speak?
might just be, there's an app out there that as silly as it sounds, every day they give you the positive affirmation.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
almost write yourself an email every night. You're like your three
right.
affirmations and schedule it to send to yourself in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
that's what you
Wake
write.
up and you can greet yourself with yourself going, "Hey, you're a badass rock star."
And we need that.
We do.
You need yourself, because and you say it enough times, it will become the truth.
It
You're a
does.
badass rock star,
If you especially if
again
you
and
look at
again.
yourself in a mirror, like I feel like really looking at yourself eye to eye and saying it and meaning it
Yeah,
is crucial.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, you should do it. I think.
Badass rock star. I am a badass rock star.
All right. So we hope that kind of gives you an idea of negative thoughts that, they automate, they loop. You want to be careful of those
Get
when you're
rid of it.
trying to chase down a dream and you're in a creative relationship. They can definitely sink the ship. So that's probably the biggest
For sure.
reason. And I should probably mention that. Like when we started dating, it was like we didn't want to be the couple that fed into their negativities together. So,
Mhm.
like, let each other get out of shape and tired and negative and depressed and or on drugs and like we didn't want that heavy energy. So this is a great thing to become aware of and then impose some practices.
Yeah, and that will lead right into the
Yes.
next few um, podcast episodes,
Yes.
which would be, how does the dream, how does the lifestyle, does the reframing and the belief system fit, not fit,
Feed.
feed, thank you,
Yeah.
your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual side.
Yes, and why that's important. So we'll kind of lob into self care as creative peoples chasing their dream.
Mhm.
We'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. If you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to make them below or send us an email or a DM, maybe even on Instagram, which we're at Backyard Blindfolds too.
Remember, you are a badass rock star.
That's right. All right. See you guys
Bye.
next time.